So AJ says, you'll never use, well, in quotations, you'll never get number 1 queuing EU. AJ gets wiped by every top EU ones player. You can't be oKhaliD. Yawn. A screenshot of him at rank 1. So 2,000 likes. I had to give that one a like myself. I'd love to see that. When I saw this, I asked him if he had any replays of his rank 1 grind, and he said he does. He sent a couple of replays of him versus oKhaliD that we'll take a look at right now. But there's a look at the leaderboard. AJ, only player over 1,700. He's still in Europe. While he's here, he's on that one's grind. But it's not just for fun. I mean, he's probably doing prep for the KSA LAN. Okay, let's get into the first of 2 games. AJ versus oKhaliD. We'll switch back and forth. We're not going to do one POV here. We'll see what both players are getting up to. Now, I don't know. I've never seen a game between these two before, but I do remember when AJ, and you know, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I seem to remember that when AJ was here in Europe for the Fall Major, I believe he played, oh sorry, I've accidentally held down my mouse there. I believe he played against oKhaliD while he was here. And I know he played against Appjack when he was here for the Fall Major as well, and if I'm not mistaken, he said in answer, I was watching him stream and somebody asked who's the hardest player to play against, and he did say oKhaliD. So I think if I remember correctly, at the time of the Fall Major, which is now some 6 months ago, he said that oKhaliD was the guy that he had the most trouble with. So maybe it was just a one-off game and he's thinking, wait, what on earth was that? Because nobody really plays really exactly like oKhaliD does in North America. AYYJAYY's similar, but not the same, if I would say, you know, to try and make a comparison. But clearly now he's got a much better matchup there. The fact that he's able to get rank 1 and play against oKhaliD on his way to that rank 1. Now, I don't want to spoil too much, but these games are from the rank 1 grind. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're both going to be wins. That doesn't necessarily mean that either of them are going to be wins, but at the end of this I will reveal where AJ was on the rank 1 grind when these were played. Merchas, thanks to the 28-month tier 1. Welcome back to the channel. Also, Rashix, thanks for the 100 bits. Did I see your message? Which, no, I don't think I did. If I might have, but I don't remember what message it was. oKhaliD applying tons of pressure here. I think the thing that really separates oKhaliD from, well, the reason I can safely say that there's nobody who plays oKhaliD's style completely in the US servers is because although AYYJAYY is a player who attacks like oKhaliD with the bounce dribbles and 50-50s and mind games, oKhaliD has much more of an aerial presence now as well, so he's very versatile. And I think the thing that separates him though is his defense. oKhaliD is one of the most active defenders in the game when it comes to 1v1. Rarely you'll see him sitting in the goal if he can put a challenge in. He'd much rather challenge coming at his opponent, looking for opportunities to get on the ball before you have to make a save. So it can be difficult to adapt to immediately. AJ's doing a great job right now. He's not overextended. He's not allowed oKhaliD to just come away with a clean challenge and walk the ball into the net, and he's defended quite comfortably when oKhaliD has played for the big aerial attacks. That's a lovely little kickoff there by AJ. Free possession for him. Chain dash to stay on the ball. And now he's actually going to sneak into the corner for a boost steal as oKhaliD tried to go one step ahead and seal mid. Oh, big dunk. AJ completely positionally outplays oKhaliD there. oKhaliD was hoping that AJ would just blindly rotate back to mid and find the mid boost stolen when he got there, but AJ saw that, stole the back corner, and then was able to cut oKhaliD off as he tried to dribble the ball across his own box. He's comfortably leading now with half of the game to go. I think AJ, was it yesterday he played against TRK in a show match on Fear's channel. Just in case that's not been uploaded at the time of me saying this, I won't say what the score was, but yeah, AJ's looking to get as many matches in as possible while he's in Europe. He definitely seems to be in phenomenal 1v1 form, and this is a guy who has been you know, a very consistent top 10 ones player for a while now, and he's, you know, at certain moments in his 1v1 history looked like the guy, the top 1 or definitely top 2 player in NA. Little ground pinch from oKhaliD. makes it 3. And that wasn't the cleanest half flip by AJ. I think if khalid completely perfectly shot that ball to the bottom corner, it would have been unsavable, because you've got to really get the ideal half flip if you're going to go for the half flip onto the corner boost instead of the ball for the kickoff. AJ's bumped khalid off this one though. No momentum for khalid. 7-3. It's starting to get ugly in this first game. Yeah, he's queuing EU here. This is an EU server matchup. Khalid's back in Saudi Arabia. AJ in Europe. Khalid just running dry on boost again. Waves goodbye to another opportunity. Not as clinical as we're used to seeing from Khalid. AJ is by far the more efficient of the two players. Just runs away with the ball and easily puts it on target before Khalid can get anywhere near him for an attempted demo. AJ just rocking and rolling with the kickoffs as well. He's had superior kickoff variety. Spots the early challenge in the back corner, and that is game over. Khalid decides to go next at 9-3, which is fair enough, to be honest. AJ in great form in this game, and you know, maybe you could think about attempting a 6-goal comeback in a minute if you're winning every single kickoff, but that was not the case. AJ was mixing it up beautifully. Yeah, Khalid knew that this one was as good as over. So, okay, hold on a second. Let me just make sure that I don't spoil the result of the second game as I load it up here. But we do have one more game to look at. All right, let's get into it. So the very next game, straight away after AJ 9-3's Khalid, both players queue again, find each other. If it wasn't the immediate next game, there might have been one very short game between them, but it's likely that this was the very next game. Looking at the time between them, there was 9 minutes between the start times of these games, and their first game took over 5 minutes. So I expect that this is the very next game. It's Khalid looking to figure out AJ, and AJ, I think, just in that first game was the more clinical of the two players. Spotted a lot of Khalid's challenges coming. That's a mistake though. AJ accidentally backflips and says bye-bye to his lead. Thumb Drivers, thanks to the 10-month, actually 32-month tier 1. Welcome back to the channel, man. Very much appreciated. Khalid bringing the ball down and manages to slot it bottom corner. AJ was angling his car for a 50-50, something of course that Khalid is extremely well known for. A great mix-up by Khalid to surprise AJ and briefly take the lead, but it was very brief. AJ wins the kickoff to the outside, or to the inside I should say, and has plenty time to slot the ball before Khalid gets back. Khalid trying to get on the outside edge of the ball here. The recovery from AJ is just phenomenal. That was so speedy. Khalid might have thought he had an open net there. He has to think again. He's constantly threatening demos in the back corner, but AJ well aware of Khalid's whereabouts. That really forces Khalid not to go too far out of his way in the hunt for demos. That flip signifies Khalid's direction, but he still manages to save and recover brilliantly and score on the counter-attack. That looked like a pretty good flick to me, but Khalid predicted it perfectly, pre-jumps, and crucially lands outside of the net to score before AJ can get back. So not the bounce Khalid is looking for as the ball heads up and into the corner. AJ's now in position to defend. Quite a lot of boost to his name actually. Khalid might not realise this. Indeed, he wasn't expecting AJ to be able to lunge that far off the wall and meet him mid-air. Khalid sets up for the following boost steal either way. And hold on, I've messed up the camera somehow. Let me just make sure that we get back on the correct one. There we go. I don't know what I clicked to make that happen. Constant pressure from Khalid. Air dribble high and into the net. And eventually AJ's boost management ran dry. He was holding on for a long time there. Khalid found a way through. Khalid never known for overextending in those kind of positions. But another kickoff goal goes in. Look at AJ go. Definitely the stronger kickoff out of the two players today. He's varied it up a lot more. He's been the one who's switching, especially on the diagonal spawn, keeping khalid guessing. khalid not someone who's really known for the wave dash recovery kickoff, so when he's conceding kickoffs like this, he is kind of limited with his options. Oh, that is a perfect save. khalid passed it to himself off the inside of the post. I don't know if he meant that, but great outcome either way. And what's it going to be for khalid? AJ been pretty dominant from the center circle. Continues to be very, very solid on the inside. khalid not able to match him there as AJ comes forward again. This time the close range flick is not pre-jumped, and it will indeed go in. So half the game to go. It is a close one. Oh, sorry, I've just realized the screen is frozen. Let me back it up a second. I didn't even realize I was in full screen. So we've got to witness that bounce dribble one more time. khalid smacks it in, showing that his all-time favorite strat is still something he can dip his toes in if he fancies it. But this is probably what you call AJ's all-time favorite strat. Air dribbling off the sidewall. Reset or not, it's going to be dangerous, and it's likely to cause some problems. No overlay? Nah, no overlay for this one. We're just watching 2 replays, so we're not going to use an overlay and confuse people. I feel like if I use an overlay, people are going to say that I'm trying to pretend that this is live or something. What am I doing? I'm casting some replays while also trying to set up another show match at the same time. Multitasking. Why doesn't khalid do more bounce dribbles anymore? It's because players are better at defending them. When khalid first burst onto the scene with just a higher level of bounce dribble than anyone had seen before, the reason it worked is because nobody was able to correctly space themselves between the ball and the goal and block all angles. So if they decided to lunge in for a challenge, khalid would shoot the ball over them, and if they don't lunge in for a challenge, he would just dribble closer and then shoot the ball over them. It was, you know, kind of the perfect storm of early shot or control. But what players realize is that if you just make small advancements and put yourself in a position where you can challenge from goal side, then suddenly the bounce dribble is a lot more of a risky strategy. You know, traditional shadowing way back in the day wasn't coming from goal side. It was a little bit more sideways of an approach, and that's what made it so ineffective against bounce dribbles. These days, goal side challenges make it a lot harder and a lot more timing intensive to get the ball over the top of a perfect bounce dribble. Now look at this. AJ, with massive aggression in the back corner, takes a 1-goal lead. He is now in control of the rematch between the two greats. Sends khalid into the back corner. khalid trying to keep the ball close here, doesn't want to lose control of it to AJ, who is waiting in the midfield. AJ makes a brief mistake, gives possession away with no planned follow-up, but khalid lets the ball roll way too far off the front of his car, loses control, runs out of options, and it's only a phenomenal recovery that leaves the net open for him to score. That was not plan A. He lost control of the ball. It was rolling off the front of the car. That made it impossible for him to flick. He kind of had to go low. But when your last option is to go low on a 50, khalid's probably the guy you want to call to make the move work. Boost running out for him. AJ gets one last touch on the air dribble to send it over the top of him. And now leads again with 24 seconds left. That last touch was something khalid did not expect. Now AJ pushes the ball to the outside. He's been switching up the kickoff so well this entire game, but khalid beats him to the punch. AJ did not expect khalid to go over this one. He thought that the boost advantage would scare the great khalid away from the ball. khalid scores it. And now it's his turn to win a kickoff. Flick is lackluster. AJ comes away with a boost and the net's briefly open. It's a good shot. AJ's done it. Leads with just 5 seconds left. A flick from khalid did not force AJ out of position, did not force him to relinquish ball possession or back corner boost control. Now can khalid keep the ball in the air? He can't do it while also grabbing boost, or so he calculated in his head. Now he's going to need to keep it up with none at his disposal. AJ gets in the way and wins 9-8. 2 games in a row. AJ takes down khalid. Fantastic stuff. And I said it at the start of the video. I'll reveal now where these games were in the run for AJ to rank 1. Well, as it turns out, this was his rank 1 game. So even under pressure, the additional pressure of trying to do the rank 1 grind on EU server, AJ makes it happen. Brilliant stuff. And what a better player to do it than the legendary oKhaliD, who's held rank 1 for ridiculous amounts of time on the not just EU server but worldwide.